All right, here we are at my home base airport, French Valley, Marietta, California. Today we will be taking a trip to Flagstaff. We're going to Flagstaff today because I have a mission with my logistical trucking company. I have to bring a load down to Yuma, Arizona. So the first leg of this trip, you guys are going to enjoy flying aboard this Eclipse 550 little private jet here, which is a single pilot operated aircraft, or at least can be. It's always better with two, of course. So as you see, we've got the aircraft all configured here. All we have to do is pull out the pitot covers and all of the chocks and stuff around it and jump on board so that we can get going. Today will be a full flight. I will be doing all of the planning with you. We will be flying on Pilotedge for our air traffic control. Today we have myself, one adult and one child I'm also bringing with, just for passengers. You will not see them or hear them just because they're just catching a ride to Flagstaff. I do apologize if I keep clearing my throat today, as drunken enough water and tea. Don't know why it's raspy, but it is. So while we're outside, we've already done the walk around of the aircraft. We will be using the checklist today. I haven't flown in a while. I haven't posted a video for a while, so I'm a little bit rusty. So we're going to go through this together. So as you can see, we have the pitot covers on. We've got the engine covers on, the chock block, the chocks here on the tires. We've got the safety cones, and of course you see the generator here, which is giving our power here. So let's we can't get rid of the generator right now, but we can most certainly get rid of the chocks and the pitot covers. So on this aircraft, this is the interface from Aerobasque that is provided. We will remove the chocks, which we have just successfully done. And then once we go inside the aircraft, of course, we'll close the door. This is the GPU, or the ground power unit. We're also going to use this interface on side, and I'll explain how I absolutely have filled the aircraft and worked on the weight in terms of passengers. Excuse me. Alright, let's go ahead and jump on board. Alright, first of all, we're going to go to the back. It is awfully loud here because of that generator's close to us. So let's go ahead and get the door shut here using our interface. Alright. The cabin door is now closed and sealed and verified. Let's go ahead and just verify the passenger cabin here, just to ensure there's nothing. Of course, those passengers aren't showing up right now. All right, passenger cabin looks good. Everything is secure. All right, let's go ahead and walk ourselves up front. As you see here, the aircraft has electricity on it, or power, but there are no systems on yet. As I told you, we are doing this flight from scratch so that you can fully grasp how much needs to be done to bring an aircraft up, and then remind you a lot of systems are simulated, but there would absolutely be more than what I'm doing now. So before we power the aircraft on, I'm going to go ahead and pull up a checklist here and figure out exactly what we need to go pre-flight. Alright, so the pre-flight checklist: pitot cover and chocks are removed, engine selectors are off. So we will absolutely go through this checklist here. Alright, the engine selectors are all off here. You can see generator, start, bus tie, system battery, and the generators left and right are off, along with the emergency switch here, okay, which is always in the arm position. The oxygen here is in the auto position, which is fine. Here is the cabin air, or the air source, which we need to make sure it's down here. We need to make sure that we are turning this on, especially prior to us getting altitude, for the cabin pressurization. Here is where we are going to be monitoring all of our cabin pressurization throughout the flight, right here. And I'm just simply going through this because we're going to go over this in the checklist, but I won't have to stop because I'm doing it right now. I'm doing with a flow, and then we'll go on the checklist and make sure I didn't miss anything. All right, all of our landing lights, taxi lights, our gear is down, all of our lights, all these switches are off. The interior lights, ice protection, exterior lights, the dimming lights. If you come here, our throttle is in the idle position. All right, our rudder trim is neutral right now, and the flaps are up. All right, rest of the systems are off. One of the checks will be, and we're on the co-pilot side right now, is the flaps should be set where it says here to take off, and the parking brakes should be on. So the pre-flight checklist: pitot cover and chocks removed, engine selectors were off, system battery switch was on. So let's go ahead and do that now, because we did mark it off. So let's go back over to our side here now. All right, we're going to go system battery switch. We're going to tie the bus, and we're also going to initiate the start battery. Systems will be coming up. All right, next thing is check our fuel quantity. Today's flight requires at least 1,600 pounds of fuel. We at least have that here. If you'll notice, it's 1,677 pounds of fuel, so that's awesome. The Garmin is starting up. Let's go ahead and activate the Garmin in all its greatness. Bring that up. We may start hearing radio transmissions as we are already on Pilotedge. And if they start talking, we will just simply switch the channel off so that we don't hear the Pilotedge talking there. Okay. All right, let's go back to our checklist here. All right, we knew the power level was at idle. Fuel quantity we checked. The parking brake is set. The gear handle is down in 3 greens. If you don't believe me, here we are here. The gear handle, okay, right here, it's down. We do have the 3 greens. Additionally, the parking brake is set. All lights and switches are off. Flaps are set to take off, which they are. And the rudder pedals are adjusted. Flight controls are checked and trims checked, which we will get into that right now. Okay, so if you look at our trim, this is our elevator trim here, and it looks like we are on. So let's just go ahead and shut the stereo off, or the radio off. Yep.
Okay, aircraft transmitting there. You're totally unreadable.
I apologize about that. I hit the wrong view. Don't sue me.
Like 100 feet away from the mic.
All right, so hopefully this channel doesn't pick up. Besides, when we file, I believe we are going to use 122. I believe it's 0.5. I'm rusty here, so yeah, because I think it's 1215 and 1225. So let's just enter that, and we'll see if we get clearance on that here in a minute. If not, I'll have to research that. Back to the checklist. We're done before engine start. Doesn't need to be now. What we're going to do is get our flight clearance. So actually, let me give you guys this better view here. I'm going to go ahead and put the initial waypoints of the flight that we're taking. Now, normally this identifier would not have this K or kilo in it, but for some reason in X-Plane, with this particular aircraft, it requires me to put the kilo. But technically, the identifier to this airport is Foxtrot 70 or F70. So this K right here is one thing that's not realistic, but the Garmin, this whole operation here is realistic, just not this K identifier. So this is a airport that starts with a single letter, which is Foxtrot in this case, 70. So let's type that in. We're at French Valley. And then our first waypoint is projected to be Papa Sierra Papa, which is Palm Springs. So we'll throw that in there. And now we will go ahead and get our actual flight plan filed. So let's hopefully that this is the right radio frequency, 122.2, which I think on my trusty notes there is what that is. So let's 122.2, and then let's switch that over, and let's just, I guess, try for a clearance and see what we get. Let me pull up my rusty dusty flight plan here. All right. The flight plan here is provided by SimBrief, and you always want to have that up whenever you are trying to talk to the ATC, because it helps in case they start referencing points or different things on your flight that you might need the information from. So I've been caught several times not having that information, so it was a lesson learned. Here we go. All right, let's see if we're on the right frequency. Clearance November 350 Kilo Tango, here on the ground at French Valley, looking for IFR to Flagstaff. So if it's not 122, then it'll be, or 122.2, then it'll be 121.5. So we'll give
Eclipse 350 Kilo Tango, so Calipers, cleared from French Valley Airport to Flagstaff Airport, as filed. Maintain at 4,000, expect flight level 25010 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 133.5, squawk 4336, hold for release.
Cleared to Flagstaff is filed. Climb and maintain 4,000. Expect flight level 25010 minutes after departure. Departure frequency is 133.5. Squawking 4336. Hold for release. November 350 Kilo Tango.
Eclipse 0 Kilo Tango, just confirm the squawk code 4335.
Okay, yeah, correction on that. Squawk code is 4335. November 350 Kilo Tango.
40 Kilo Tango, read back correct and advise red.
Okay, we'll advise when ready. November 350 Kilo Tango. Alright, so we did have somewhat of the right frequency. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter the CTAF frequency for French Valley, since this is a non-towered airport, which means I'll have to communicate with the pilots in reference to my movements on the field, meaning on the ground, and then my movements once I enter the runway and for my departure. They need to know that once I depart, they need to know my departure direction, just in case they're entering the pattern or arriving to the airport, and that's how that's done. So okay, now here we go. So we got our clearance. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and grab my flight plan once again, so that I can see what waypoints to put in. Actually, I'll probably just use Skyvector, because I've also gotten it on Skyvector as well. All right, let's go to Skyvector. All right, so Skyvector, again, the first route or first waypoint was Papa Sierra Papa, which is Palm Springs. After that, we pick up an airway, so we're going to load the airway here. The airway that we are picking up is Victor 370 until, which is 29 Palms, or Tango November Papa. Then from 29 Palms, we're going to pick up another airway, which is going to be Juliet 231 to Cadiz. All right, moving right along from Cadiz, we're going to continue along Jetway 231 all the way to Hippie, and then from Hippie we're going to jump on Jetway 10, and then of course we're going to end at Flagstaff, the VOR, and then I'm going to add the final waypoint, which is actually Flagstaff Pulliam. There we go. Now if we come over to our other readout here, you can see there's an aircraft 2,200 feet above us over here, heading in our direction, which is northbound. We're facing southbound right now, so that aircraft is heading northbound. So, and here's another aircraft here. If we're facing south, this one's traveling east, this one's traveling somewhat northeast. This is on the TCAS system here. At any rate, here's our aircraft here, so we will be departing to the south Once we depart to the south, I will just simply more than likely come and do a nice left turn to get us on course. Now, one thing that we do have to keep in mind is on the departure chart for runway 18, the obstacle departure is relatively non-existent for runway 18. It's only really for runway 36, so we're okay to make the turn as long as we're visual flight rule standards, meaning that we don't enter any class Charlie or Bravo airspace, which we're not. We're maintaining 4,000, and there really is no significant airspace directly around French Valley, relatively speaking, even though, yes, the airspace of Los Angeles and Ontario and San Diego and all that stuff is relatively close when you're talking about aircraft. The airspace gets very crowded in Southern California. At any rate, we will be using this. This is going to give us a lot of information during the flight. This is fully functional. I can also do autopilot features from here, such as that, and you see these are all fully functional systems. However, we will deal more with this readout, this display. Once we get in the air.
2617 4000 departure frequency.
There we go. Let's turn her off for a second. She's doing her job. Okay, so now let's get the aircraft ready for departure. We've got our flight plan already locked in, and we most certainly will put some information down here in our standby comms. So we'll come down here, and I always like to just put a couple of different frequencies here in the standby comms. So this is what we'll do here. So I'm going to put a boost frequency that we have, which is kind of unique to Pilotedge, just in case we're getting too far away from the tower, because even the radio procedures are simulated even up to how far you can receive a transmission from a certain tower. So it's pretty cool how they did that. So nonetheless, we're going to pop this one in here, and we want to make it our top priority. All right, and then of course, if we want to monitor or make a any transmission on this, we can do that as well. Right now, we're not monitoring this radio, so I just use this one again to monitor, use for a signal boost, and we'll get our ATIS on this. French Valley does not have ATIS, an active ATIS here, and I'm not sure if Flagstaff does too, so I will be using FlightAware in order to get the weather, of course. So that's how I'm going to get the weather, but normally on Pilotedge now, you absolutely can tune into ATIS if the field has it. So let's go ahead and type in our transponder code of 4335 and go ahead and enter that on. There's our transponder code. Now, once we get ready to take off, we're going to activate this, or actually, once we start moving on the field, we're going to activate this transponder. So in terms of our flight plan, I'm feeling comfortable about it. Now, what we need to do is we need to prepare for our departure. So in doing this, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set my departure heading. Again, according to the chart, the departure heading for this runway is 179. This aircraft is wonderful because it has a touch screen, or I can do it manually. For example, see how it's moving, I can do it that way, or I can actually just come here and it gives me a nice little touch screen, so I can just type in 179 and hit enter, and you see the heading is already entered in there. Now, another thing that we need to do is regarding this piece right here. This is how our heading needles are going to react on our flight display here. And excuse me if I'm not using the correct terminology. Again, I'm rusty. I haven't taken a flight in a while, so bear with me here. Normally, I know these are called MFDs, multifunctional displays, so I'll refer to that as a display. Anyway, here on the MFD, or the multifunctional display, these features here refer to our navigational indicators here, which also feed into the system and what actually guides the aircraft when the autopilot is on, and or lets me know if I'm flying manual, if I'm getting close to an airway or a trajectory or a route that I want to take here. So it's pretty cool. We're going to use the Skyview, which in this case is tied to this FMS. So whatever we have here in this active flight plan is absolutely going to be followed or indicated on here in terms of our route. This is where our speed is at over here. This is our true airspeed and our ground speed. This is the indicated airspeed. Those are 3 different airspeeds that pilots need to know. If you want to research them, it's, you know, it can get tricky, and I often even have to go back and remember the difference, but it has to do with the altitude, air density, what the aircraft is actually indicating, actually how fast you are going over your ground speed versus what the true airspeed is, which is, I guess, indicated by the pressure and air density and all that certain stuff at specific altitudes. So it can get kind of tricky, but you need to know the difference between the 3 because air traffic control may be asking you how fast you're going, and they may want to reference any of the 3, which they usually want the indicated airspeed. All right, so I'm going to click on this Skyview. Now that it's turned magenta, means that it is tied to our flight management computer there. I'm also going to have this. Now let's say I had another route where I wanted to switch something in. I also use a localizer or different DME equipment off the aircraft, distance measuring equipment, then I can leave this. But in this case, everything's going to be on Skyview. That's just the way I like it. And as you can see here, this is the Skyview. It's given our first waypoint, which was Palm Springs, and it's waypoint 2 of 8 because this French Valley would be waypoint 1. And this right here is indicating the first waypoint, which we are 39.2 nautical miles from. So as you see, folks, here I do get a lot of information. Here is our barometric pressure. This is where we need to set altimeter so that myself and air traffic control are on the same sheet in terms of our elevation or altitude, because it does change based off the barometric pressure. Last time I believe it was 29907. I'll check Pilotedge right now and absolutely see what it is. Not Pilotedge rather, but FlightAware. Let me just refresh the trusty map here. Okay, the barometric pressure at this point is 29907, as promised. Okay, 29907, and that's already plugged in. Okay, so the wind direction is coming out of the south. 160 degrees is where the wind's coming, so we are taking the appropriate runway as we want to take off and land into the wind as much as possible. All right, visibility is clear. It's VFR, Visual Flight Rules, so that means visibility is in our favor. Okay, so then the last thing I'm going to do here to prepare for our flight, which I usually do, this aircraft, the autopilot is very hands-on, meaning you need to have your buttons in terms of how you are going to control your pitch, basically. So I had to go into a different menu here. As you see, if I go back, here's the transponder tool screen. This is all types of different stuff, but right now I want autopilot, and I'm going to be primarily concerned with the pitch or our climb. And I love using the indicated airspeed climb for this aircraft because it just keeps it at a certain speed, so you can at least count on your trip time knowing that you're going to be climbing at a certain speed versus trying to kind of play with what the engines can handle as we lose oxygen levels the higher we get. At any rate, let's go ahead and trim the aircraft on. I want this little white indicator here, these 2 white lines, I want it to be right on the green. That'll mean the aircraft is perfectly trimmed for takeoff. So I am using my joystick to trim the aircraft. As you can see, I brought it down right to the middle. Our rudder trim and our aileron trim, which will tilt us left and right, and the rudder trim is for lateral movement from the back, the rudder. Our horizontal, so that's all, everything is lined up where we want. We've checked our fuel, we've got our amps. Okay, now what we want to do is make sure our nav lights are on. Okay, our nav lights are the lights at the tips of the wings, and then of course the aircraft is getting ready to become fully live in just a few seconds here as we're getting ready to run through our engine start checklist. So I'm going to put the strobe, or not the strobe, but I'm going to put our beacon light on, which is letting everybody know that this aircraft is coming alive. Once again, we want to check and make sure the parking brake is set. It's actually pulled there and indicated right here that the brake is on, and that's what we want. So let's go ahead and jump into our checklist so that we can most certainly get out of here. Okay, before engine start, the GPU is connected, the door is closed, oxygen control is pulled on. Let's take a look at the oxygen control once again. As you see here, this is the oxygen control. It's on auto. Here's the pull on, here's the push off. This doesn't need to be messed with, just to let you know, but here it is right here. It's already in auto, and the pull is already on. You know, if you want to attach it, there it goes. It's just going to show you what that is and release. But the oxygen control here is in the auto position, which is great. The air source as required. Here is the air source. We will actually be turning that on once we fire the aircraft up. If not, hypoxia will set in once you get to a certain altitude, because the cabin will not be pressurized, and that's what you don't want. Okay, the left and right generator switches here, they are in the off position, and the annunciator lamps, if we want to test those, we can. The test button is right here. As you can see, we have all the warnings, so that's nice and loud for us. The external lights as required. We've already put our navigation and beacon lights on. The gear is 3 green, fuel quantity. We have already checked parking brake. We did. The ATIS and clearance. We've obtained the weather information, and we've got our flight clearance. We've set our barometric pressure to 29997, and we have our comm, nav, and transponder and GPS set for departure, which we absolutely have done. So you know what, folks, at this point we are absolutely cooking with Crisco, and I believe it is time for the engine start, especially since we just completed the before engine start checklist. All right, engine start. Battery voltage, we need to check. It's got to be a minimum of 23 volts. So what you want to come down here, and let's see here, there we go. It wasn't letting me go in anymore. Okay, as you see here, we do have a minimum of 23 volts. We have 26.5, so the battery is good. The beacon is on, the throttles are on idle, the system battery switch is on, as you see, or else we wouldn't be as far as we've gotten. All right, so now throttles are idle, started bat switch on, right engine selector, we are going to go on and start. All right, so let's just actually do that. So we're going to go for the right selector switch here. You're going to hear a little bit of taxiing. There's that taxing noise. Sweat my nose here. All right. Now that that's coming up, we are supposed to monitor our engines, and the ITT is getting ready to come up, which is the inlet turbine temperature. We've got our N2 and notch 1, which refers to different fans. Then we've got our exhaust gas temperature, which is monitored. All right, that engine has come up. The next instruction is for us to put the left engine selector to the start position, which we will do now. You hear it, the noise once again. We're going to monitor everything here. The big thing we wait for is the ITT to start moving. All right, come on ITT, you can do it. One time when I first got this aircraft and I wasn't paying full attention, I actually took off and started messing with the aircraft more than I should have, and the engine never even fully came up, so I took off on one engine and didn't even know it. Okay, now that engine is stable, we are going to put the left and right generator switches. Now we are going to disconnect the GPU, and the before engine start checklist is complete, and the actual engine checklist is complete. All right, let's pull our interface on and get rid of that nasty background noise. All right, there we go. That's a lot quieter without that noise in our ear. Okay, now one thing that we want to do is we actually want to make sure that we have our air source on now, which actually is a before takeoff check, but I believe in activating the air source as soon as possible. So we're going to cycle to normal, to right, to middle. The air source is on. That way we do not get hypoxia in the air. All right, flaps are absolutely in the takeoff position, which is good. All right, so now we are going to put our taxi light on, and we are pretty much ready for taxi. Let's do the taxi checklist. All right, before taxi, FMS setup, trims are set, which we did. Flaps are set for takeoff, which they are indicated absolutely right here. Ice protection is required. It is absolutely warm here in Southern California. External lights, we just turned our taxi on. Taxi and takeoff briefing is complete. Let's release the parking brake. Let's first look to our right. Let's first look to our left. Before we release the parking brake, we must make our announcement. French Valley, November 350 Kilo Tango, middle, south ramp, taxi into runway 18 via Alpha, French Valley. All right, parking brake can now be released, and as we advance the throttles, we're just going to keep a look to the left. Alright, as we're taxiing, we'll do one last thing. Part of our instructions on departure were to climb and maintain 4,000 and expect flight level 250 or 25,000 feet within 10 minutes of our departure. So now that we've got a nice little taxi, we're going to multitask here, and we're going to set our altimeter to 4,000. Or not our altimeter, but our altitude that we want to climb to. So that's been done. And then of course I'm going to set our speed right here. That's our speed that I'm going to use for our climb. Moving right along here. Alright, keeping it straight. Let's jump back, see what these passengers see. Alright, don't try that at home, folks. You should never try that at home. Never jump in the back and see what the passengers are doing while you're flying a private aircraft in Southern California. I just wouldn't do that. Alright, so anyway, I haven't taken a flight in quite some time. I've tried to segue all of my flight videos from my Dre Sanchez YouTube channel over to my Motivated Sim Pilot. So if you are catching me on this channel, Motivated Sim Pilot, I would like to say thank you for watching and maybe hopefully getting some from the videos. I hope you all are well. And please leave me some comments on any flights that you want me to take. Again, this is a unique flight today because we are traveling to Flagstaff because I have to take a load from, I believe, Eddie's is the place that I'm picking up from and shipping it all the way down to Yuma, Arizona. So we'll be traveling by big rig once we land. We've got transportation already set up to get from the airport to my garage that I own in Flagstaff. I think you guys will enjoy riding along on my Kenworth that I have. So I'm excited. I'm super excited you guys are joining me today on this wonderful, wonderful flight. It's great to be alive, isn't it? Alright, so we're coming down to the threshold, down on the throttles slightly here. Once we get to the threshold, I will go ahead and contact our clearance. And then of course I will be putting in our departure frequency. Alright, nice and easy over here. Alright, down on the throttles, we'll let it ease back. Parking brake is set. Let's go ahead and switch over to clearance.
You want to explain, or are you running a different platform like Microsoft or prepared?
Let's let their transmissions finish there. Looks like they've got a conversation going on.
013, if you roger, if Okay, the current issue, I'm not sure. Sometimes on Microsoft and Prepared, it's a known issue that the transponder commands sometimes do not transmit, I guess, through the simulator. So you kind of have to do force it through the client. If you're on the web,
Squawk transponder to on now.
On the web client, there should be a button just says Mode C. If you're on the regular client, go to Start menu, go down to transponder, and click Normal for Mode C, and then you'll have to click Ident to ident.
Hopefully, hopefully that little situation is done, but if not, let's just give them some time here. We're just checking all of our...
36 Delta Mike, you are radar contact 13 miles east of Santa Barbara Airport, Santa Barbara altimeter 2993. Vice Chef Echo, and whatever you did seemed to work just fine. Alright,
so we're going to do a southeast departure. I think they're done. SoCal clearance, November 350 Kilo Tangos, number 1 in sequence, ready for departure.
36 Delta Mike, you are radar contact. I did receive Mode C and the ident. Thank you. Your radar contact 13 miles east of Santa Barbara Airport, Santa Barbara altimeter 2993. Information Echo is current. Report airport in sight. 36 Delta Mike, Q.
We'll just give her a second. I think she heard us.
Number 350 Kilo Tango, release to departure, clearance switch, not off in 5 minutes. If not off in 5 minutes, advise intentions as frequency not later than 8 minutes. Change to advisory frequency approved.
Okay, release for departure is approved. If not off within 5 minutes, I will notify you of my intentions within 5 minutes. Frequency change approved to advisory. We'll talk to you in a second. November 350 Kilo Tango. All right, so we set our piece. Now what I'm going to do prior to all of this departure talk is put in our radio frequency here, 1335. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. So once I get airborne, I'm going to go ahead and let them know that I'm airborne, and she's going to ask me to ident, and we'll be on our way. We will not exceed 4,000. All right, before takeoff configuration is okay. Air source switch is to norm, which we already proved that. External lights, this is something we need to pay attention to now. We need to turn our beacon light to strobe, and we need to now turn our landing lights on. The ice protection is okay. This is already indicated all the way up. Let's see here. That's the nav. I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. Let's make sure our nav is back on. I've been toiling with that. Okay. Now, before we go, just for curious minds, if you want to know what our configuration looks like, we have our strobe lights on. As you can see, our landing lights are on here, and we are absolutely ready for one gorgeous departure. Let's get a screenshot here for a second. I can't fly without a screenshot. All right, folks, let's do what we came to do here. Let's get down to Flagstaff because we got a mission to take care of. All right, here we go. French Valley, November 350 Kilo Tango, entering runway 18 for southeast departure, French Valley. Guess we should have checked, make sure there was no oncoming flight traffic. Of course, we didn't get any indication that there was. All right, you want to try to make sure you line yourself up nicely with the runway here. Nice and easy. All right, we are pretty much lined up. I lead. I'm going to line myself up a little more as I advance these throttles. This aircraft is a great aircraft, but it seems to be grossly underpowered upon takeoff. It takes a while to get it up, but once you get her going, she goes pretty good. All right, we're going to back off there. As you notice, our N1 and N2 are right in the 99 mark. Okay, I'm kind of dancing around here doing a lot of yip-yapping, so let me keep her quiet here. There we go. 80 knots. At 100 knots, we'll rotate. All right, nice and easy off the threshold here. All right. We're going to go for gear up. Trim the plane down slightly. Just going to manually fly it here for a minute. I haven't flown for a while. But I'll go back on the throttles a little bit. Alright, it's nice, easy takeoff. We still have our takeoff flaps. We're going to stay under the 4,000 mark. We're actually flying VFR now. Let's start making our turn here. Trim the plane down slightly. Beautiful view. Alright. Now we'll go ahead and activate the autopilot. And we're going to go nav.
36010 after departure. Departure frequency 128.1.
Alright.
Walk 64.
Now we got we're going to go with our flaps down now. SoCal departure, November 350 Kilo Tango, 3,200 climbing 4,000.
Yeah, 398 readback correct. Eclipse 350 Kilo Tango, there is an aircraft reading back at clearance. I didn't copy your check-in, so you get the altitude.
November 350 Kilo Tango, 3,800.
For the Kilo Tango, thank you, ident.
Alright, so now she's asking for this over here, this ident, which we're doing. Our flaps are all the way up.
For the Kilo Tango, radar contact 2 miles east of French Valley Airport. March altimeter 29097. Climb and maintain 13,000.
Altimeter 29097 up to 13,000, November 350 Kilo Tango. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go up to 13,000.
016 Alpha, the segment of airspace you're about to go into is from 4,800 to 10,000.
Alright, so I have it on the indicated airspeed climb. So you can see the aircraft here is trying to follow the flight director. We're going to try to climb at 180 knots, but we have to monitor the engine as well as we're going up to 13,000. Here on this MFD, I'll make it larger so you can see our first waypoint is Papa Sierra Papa or Palm Springs right here. And we're going right on our flight path. Alright, the after takeoff checklist, gear is up, flaps are up, yaw damper is on, throttles are max climb and ice protection as required, which we don't need. We are actually climbing pretty decent at the 180 mark, 5 degrees nose up. It's kind of up and down. What I'm going to do is go ahead and reduce the indicated airspeed climb to about 160 so that we can get a little bit faster of a climb. Okay, once we get above 10,000 we'll turn our landing lights off. In the meantime, let's go ahead and also do our climb checklist at 10,000 feet. Got to check pressurization, but we're not quite there yet. And we'll do landing lights off, and then at 8,000 feet, our flight level 180, we will go ahead and put our barometric pressure to the standard 299.2.
On departure for heading 175.
As you can see here, our pressurization is actually coming up. The higher we get, this actually will be in the green.
Departure frequency 128.1. 5455.
All right. Here we go. Here we go. Approaching 7,000. Like I said, she climbs pretty slow, but the engines are kind of right where I want them.
Go back at 5455.
You know, we could actually tax the engines a whole lot more than this, but we're not going to.
16 Alpha, contact Limber Tower 118.3.
There we go. Let's see what we do at, we're in the orange, which is really not preferred. Let's see if we can back that down. If this doesn't get out of the orange here in a second, I'm going to actually reduce my indicated climb there. It's a lot of aircraft out there. Let's see if we get visual on anybody out there.
Who else was calling?
I'm actually glad this flight is a little bit longer.
Tango, contact Los Angeles Center 126.35.
126.35, November 350 Kilo Tango. Alright, so we're going to go Los Angeles Center 12635. Los Angeles Center, November 350 Kilo Tango, 9,800, climbing 13,000.
350 Kilo Tango, Los Angeles Center, climb and maintain flight level 230.
Up to flight level 230, November 350 Kilo Tango. Alright.
0324 Flagstaff.
As I said, this is a very busy airspace. We're typing in the altitude here to climb up to. Now we're going up to flight level 230. Once I get these engines down, then we'll take a look at the rest of our planning here. I don't like this being so high, so I'm going to reduce my climb speed to 150 knots.
20 right, taxi Alpha.
We have passed 10,000. Let's turn our landing lights off. Landing lights here are off.
You're 2 Quebec, I have one better, cross runway 20 left.
Still in that borderline mark here, which I don't like. I don't like this here, so let me, once again, I'm going to drop our climb speed to 140 to see if I can get this down a little bit. Actually, you know what, I'm going to do it with some throttle control here.
Taxi to Marquee Charlie, cross runway 15 right at Charlie, cross runway 15 left at Charlie.
There we go.
Remain this frequency, have a great rest of your evening.
We'll continue this climb just to be on the safe side. We've still got, 2,000 feet per minute, which is not too bad.
Runway 29 clear for the option.
Alright, and once we get to flight level 180, the last thing that we need to do is set our altimeter to the standard pressurization in the United States, which is 29902.
0316 Alpha, Lumber Tower, enter right down runway 27, clear to land, wind 290 at 5.
Alright. Still have about 3,000 to go until we turn off or set our altimeter to the standard barometric pressure.
016 correction, November.
Get a view over there.
0618 off, sunless ground.
Let's figure out what body of water that is. Okay, so it's Palm Springs. We're coming up on Palm Springs, which absolutely means that is the spring lake over there, whatever lake that is. So
0618 off.
there you go. You can see Palm Springs down here in this area. Over there, you can see this heavy populated area over here. If you look a little closer, that's the city here. There's the water, the runoff from the mountains. Alright, 16,500 on the climb, engine is stable. Our final cruising altitude today is going to be...
324 Foxtrot. Yeah, I did notice you kind of just dropped off.
25,000 feet.
SoCal did try to reach out a few times, but there you were.
So we're going to go ahead and prepare our minds for the
try checking in on guard
cruise.
while you were airborne. 121.5.
Trying to wait for her to stop talking, but we're going to wait for the cruise checklist, but we're just going to pre-do it now. Once the cruise power is set, engine pressurization, oxygen, and fuel quantities all on the monitor, which we'll be doing. All right, less than 300 to go. Set standard pressurization.
Definitely in the game. We're not that sophisticated yet, but glad you made it on the ground safely.
So here you are,
at least on off comms.
18,000 feet or flight level 180. Now we will put this altimeter to 299.2 by simply just pushing this. And now it's at 299.2 and we have the right pressurization That way when air traffic control checks in with us, our altimeter is reading what their radar return should be reading, hopefully. Alright, so we've got less than 5,000 to go.
0 Kilo Tango, contact Los Angeles Center 124.62.
Going over to Los Angeles Center, 24.62, November 350 Kilo Tango. Alright, I better start writing these frequencies down. 124.62.
3 Tango, recovery 129, clear for the option.
Sometimes I forget as I'm multitasking in single pilot ops, so it's always good to keep your scratch pad with you. Alright.
10 Whiskey, I gave you that with the Spark V4.
We'll check in when she stops talking.
Approved.
Okay. Alright, here we go. Los Angeles Center, November 350 Kilo Tango, flight level 198, climbing flight level 230.
Eclipse 350 Kilo Tango, Los Angeles Center, climb and maintain flight level 250.
Up to flight level 250, November 350 Kilo Tango. Okay, so we're going to go up to flight level 250, which is our final cruising altitude. Oh, it's super itchy today. Excuse me. Okay, so we've got that set. Engine looks good. Everything is in the green. Of course, borderline, not orange, but you know, where engines are pushing their limit at this indicated airspeed climb at 140. If you really want to take a look here, you can come see. Our ground speed is 214 knots. Our true airspeed is 199, and then our indicated airspeed is 140. So now you can see the disparity in the three different airspeeds once you do your research, so you can understand it.
Have a great rest of your night.
Alright, we're going to go ahead and chill in the windshield, the fog on, just to be on the safe side.
618 off.
The winds right now are still blowing south at 21 knots. So you can see that, a little arrow. So we have a bit of a tailwind.
618 off.
I'm sure the autopilot is correcting for the wind.
Left push off approved. Report miss release time.
It's not too bad. You can see here that we're not yawing too bad at all. We're pretty much on line. Usually when it's super windy, you'll see the front of the aircraft either to the left or right, depending on where the wind is coming from, but flying kind of yawed on this line. So this this little line here, this tail line here, this indicates that's where we should be at whenever we get to 25,000 feet. I love this display too. You may be saying, hey, you're not seeing outside, what's going on? But it doesn't matter because I have all the information I need right here on this display.
16 right.
Our indicated airspeed is 140. Here's all our different airspeeds, our ground speed. Here's our altitude. This is our estimated time en route to final. This is our estimated ETA to our next, that's actually the time. And this is our distance to the next waypoint, which is DTW, distance to waypoint, to stone. See, I've got everything we hear. We've got everything we need. Our ETA to the next waypoint, this is the actual time.
Traffic is on the go, remain in the pattern.
And you can see here it's counting down in minutes. So this information here is pretty good. It'll show you where north is at. It'll show you where on the GPS. And I don't have to feel uncomfortable about not seeing outside the aircraft because this information is giving me a lot. See, you come over here, everything is just fine. The aircraft is performing wonderfully. The engines are where they need to be. Once we level off, we will absolutely be able to increase our speed. This airplane does absolutely wonders in its cruise mode, and that's where we make the most money on this aircraft, is in the actual cruise mode, because we can get up to regular jet speeds. It just takes a little while to get there, as you guys have seen.
32, go back to your embrace, please. Climb and maintain 7,000.
Okay, we got about 500 to go.
On the car for close traffic.
If you, at whatever time during my flights, see the clouds disappear and reappear, that's because I am flying with a real weather engine, so this is real weather. It updates the clouds frequently. So just as a little disclaimer, once you see the clouds disappear and reappear, that's just the real weather engine updating the real weather clouds. I think it does it every 30 minutes is what I have it set to. Just because it was doing it every 15 minutes, it was getting a little annoying that it kept doing that. Okay, so now we are going to increase our speed. We'll start with 230 here. As you see, I've put the autopilot, auto throttle to catch up to 230, so you'll see the engines doing what they need to do.
357 exit Tango, Palm Springs ground, runway 31, correction, runway
All right.
13 right, taxi Whiskey, Yuma.
Okay, so now we are not quite in the comfortable part of the cruise just because we're still picking up speed, so we're still going to be a little bit hyper aware right now, which of course we are the whole flight.
Runway 2 golf, runway 29 clear for the option.
Now that you guys can see that we are at our cruising altitude, now you see that our Delta Papa is actually registering in the green now because of the altitude. So at this point we would be experiencing hypoxia if we did not have a pressurized cabin. Everything is in the green here, as you see here. I know a lot of folks that aren't into aviation don't understand the importance of this, but it's quite important that you have a pressurized cabin at a certain altitude, of course. Alright, everything is looking good. We're not worried about any ice protection right now. Everything on this panel looks good. We're still climbing speed. We've got this right. This engine's working. Everything's okay, but she's working hard to get up to speed, so we'll see how we look when we get to that speed. If we need to cut back by 10 knots or so, maybe 5 knots, we'll see. Or if we can pick up 10 more, we'll see how the engine performs. One thing I do want you to note, as we pick up speed, the aircraft will recalculate our estimated arrival time. So as you see this here, the estimated time en route is now only 40 minutes, which this will go down slightly too, so it's not going to take us much longer to get to Flagstaff. It's just in this aircraft upon departure, it's a slow going thing, because like I said, it doesn't have a whole lot of takeoff power, but it's got a good cruise power.
United 398, Johnny ground, runway 20 right, taxi via Alpha Lima, thanks for Whiskey. Hold short, runway 20 left. Correction, cross runway 20
and we'll
left,
probably just
Lima.
cruise right at 230 indicated, because as you see, it's slow going to get to 230. On the flight plan, I filed a true airspeed of 420. As you can see, we're not quite there, and we won't be. Because as you see here, we'll see what the engine needs to do to keep our speed at 230. As you see, it's not normally in my more ideal flying situations at a faster speed. This will drop to the 80s. It is summertime, it's warmer outside, so that has a lot to do with engine performance. And so yeah, I'm satisfied at 230 knots. I was hoping to get 240 knots. I'm glad I didn't do that because I like the way they are right here. So we'll just leave them there. Okay, so now you guys can see our arrival time has been recalculated. Now, of course, this isn't including any turns from air traffic control for traffic or whatever the case may be. This is actual, if the plane were able to get itself there straight, no alterations, this is our arrival time. So it's pretty accurate, but it may be off by 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever the case may be. All right, back over here. So now I'm going to start doing some different flight planning.
You mean our airborne?
I am going to show you guys
Ready to go, thank you.
where we are at in terms of our flight. I'm going to show you my Navigraph charts. Let me drag it in since the aircraft is stable. All right. So as you can see, this is the airport we left.
United 388, Gentleman Tower, runway 20 right, clear to land. Correction, clear for takeoff, wind 2206.
This is our route that we've taken so far.
Number 2, Quebec, and then the heading after Silver Beach, flight heading 340.
So as you can see, these are the routes in the air. I love this Navigraph. It gives me so much information. We got a slight little turn here. Let's see what's going on here so you guys can enjoy this wonderful, wonderful view. Absolutely gorgeous here. Just past 29 Palms over Southern California in the high desert.
Alpha, have a great rest of your night.
Alright, so like I said, we have stable at 230 knots. Looking good. 34 minutes. We won't be descending, at least for the next few minutes, I gather. Alright, so let's go ahead and pull our chart back up so I can show you guys where we're at once again. Here we are.
Runway 2 golf, runway 29, clear for the option.
We still have a ways to go. The larger scheme of things, we're still in the Los Angeles airspace. As you can see, this little border here. So pretty soon we'll be switching over to Albuquerque Center as we move right along. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this out of your way. We will be referencing that here shortly. We'll definitely need to do that. Alright, I'm absolutely going to pull some charts over because we have to start thinking about...
United 398, contact circle pressure.
We're going to start thinking about our arrival. Might help if I clicked on the right thing here.
32, call back to Los Angeles Airport. It's just about off your 9 o'clock, between your 9:30 and 10 o'clock in the wind.
Just opening up the charts right now on my second screen. Alright. So what I'm going to do now is let me check the weather. Let me see if Flagstaff has an ATIS.
Roger. 10 degrees left, and I'm seeing 3,000. United 398, so departure radar contact.
So Flagstaff is actually a towered airport, it looks like. So we are going to have ATIS coming in there. It's going to be here. I'll just show you guys what I'm looking at, just to be transparent. So this is Flagstaff. It is a towered airport, and I believe there are some airports that yeah, I'm pretty sure Flagstaff is covered off of my Pilotedge, so we should have full coverage there. So the ATIS there is 125.8, as you can see here. So let's go ahead and jump down here, and I want to put the ATIS in, which we said was 125.8.
Quebec, thank you. Clear your approach right 25 left. Contact LA Tower. 120.95 on 5 mile final.
125.8.
United 398, contact
25.8. One more time. It might help if I hit enter. There we are. So that's in our standby. Soon enough we'll monitor that. Once we get close enough to see, actually we can try to see if we can get that going now, actually. Alright, so...
32, go for runway 29, code for the option.
Alright, so... you can see we're monitoring both. We're not receiving anything, so we must be too far from the station. No worries. So we'll just unmonitor that for now. Leave it plugged in.
November 357 X-ray, go, correction, North 357 X-ray Tango, Palm Springs Tower.
All right.
Traffic approved, report facility time.
So now I'm going to go ahead and check
100 at 6.
the weather.
Runway 1 through right, clear for takeoff.
We're going to go ahead and check the weather. Let's make this large. Maybe we should make it so large.
388. So Galapurch, Catalina altimeter 29er, climb the maintain 16,000.
Alright. to make it large here for a second just to get to the information that I want. Now normally you could do all this too. Pilots actually these days have so many advantages in the aircraft. Use ForeFlight, all this other information to get their ATIS information, along with also listening to it. Okay, so here you can see the winds are broken. The wind direction is calm, so any runway is all game. The altimeter is 3033, so that's the METR. Just get rid of that. So in terms of our flight planning, right? Let's take a look at our approaches. The common runway here is ILS or Localizer 21. Everything's common, it should be visual. So this is the VOR, or this is the station that we have FOG programmed in. We can reasonably assume that we want this initial fix here of Calgary if we're going to ask for runway 21, which I think is wise. So we got to get here and get this truck so we can get down to Yuma.
No need to report airborne unless ATC requests.
See, so this is the reason why 21 is wise. Come down here, save on fuel. We don't have to do any back taxi versus if you come in on runway 3, come this way, you got to waste fuel in the back taxi.
And then you contact Los Angeles Center 125.27.
Alright, so we are absolutely good for now.
There 2, go back, contact Delhi, correction, contact Delhi Tower 120.905.
I'm assuming shortly here in the next 8 minutes or so we may get descent instructions, but don't count on that right away at the 20-minute mark because Flagstaff does have a higher elevation, so we'll see. Alright, in the meantime, it's going to get loud here. Let's go out and get a flyby view. Here we come. It's going to get loud again. Let's go get us a nice little outside view of what we look like. Let's say we do a screenshot. There we are. And this is the beauty about flight simulation.
125.27 United.
Alright, it's loud out there, but what other hobby can you actually simulate something but then go outside in midair? Come on. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Alright. Moving right along. Everything looks good here. Let's go back in the passenger cabin and just kind of hang out. Again, don't try this at home, folks. Need to work on getting some in-flight services here. One thing about this aircraft, you better not have to use the restroom between your origin and destination, because it's not happening. And if you went to as a passenger, you know, you can kind of roam around the aircraft. You can take a look out the window if you want to. It's your world. Especially when you own a private aircraft, even if it is a simulated one. It's your world. You know what I'm saying? Alright.
7X13 on runway 3, correction, runway 13, right, clear for the option.
Let me make sure I have this radio boost on. I can hear her getting a little distance.
United 398, Los Angeles Center.
Hopefully sooner enough we should be changing over to Albuquerque Center.
Los Angeles Center, climb maintains level 2.
Let's get this back up.
2
I'm going to keep this on the approach so I can tell her what fix the initial fix that I want, or this right here. If you see that, it's called an India Alpha Foxtrot, or the initial approach fix. I'm going to ask for Calgoo right here for, since we're deciding to come onto this particular runway 21. So even if it's a visual, I still want this as a reference point. So I'm going to keep this up, ready to go. Up top, of course, with all the frequencies that I need. We're going to go ahead and try to monitor the ATIS right now again. Let's see if we can make that a reality here. Let's switch it over. Let's monitor. Here we are.
Representative Racing Echo Dallas Tower. Runway 29 Eclipse takeoff. Carson. Clear for immediate takeoff. Traffic a Skylane. Turning to the final.
Alright, so it doesn't look like we're going to get an accurate ATIS out of that. We should be picking it up at our distance from there. And the visibility, nothing going on. I don't know why we wouldn't be, so I'm just going to assume that ATIS is perhaps not working.
Taking off now, departing
Let me just double check Pilotedge website just to make sure that airport is actually covered.
Los Angeles Center, United 8, climbing through 20,000 up to 3,000.
Station 2, Quebec, taxi to Brigadier Alpha. Have a great rest of your evening.
Alright, let's get some information.
United 390, Los Angeles Center, climb and maintain flight level 360.
360, United 390.
Yep, and Flagstaff is a towered airport on Pilotedge. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. So here you can tell, since Pilotedge only has a certain coverage area, which is basically everything west of basically Colorado and Idaho and all that stuff. So here's a list.
He's the airport now, no factor.
And Flagstaff is the towered airports right here. So there you go. Got that all squared away.
The ready to go, you are clear to land.
All right. Cruising right along.
350 Kilo, contact Albuquerque Center 128.45. Have a great rest of your flight.
Over to Albuquerque Center 128.45. I appreciate your service. We'll see you next time. November 35, Circle Tango.
Pleasure.
Always. All right. So we're going over 128.45. Again, I'm using some good habits here. 128.45. Or good, practices. Let's go ahead and make contact. Albuquerque Center, November 350, Kilo Tango, flight level 250.
350, Kilo Tango, Albuquerque Center, roger, descent of discretion, maintain 16,000, Flagstaff, altimeter 3033.
Pilot's discretion, descend, maintain 16,000, altimeter 3033, November 350, Kilo Tango. Alright, so we've got some instructions here. If I can read my own chicken scratch. Okay, so everything got real. As you see, cloud coverage got real, so we definitely are going to want to do potentially ILS. Once we start our descent, we will go ahead and let air traffic control know that we will be sending. Our descent will be different. I'm going to use the vertical speed feature here. We'll be using this, and of course down here on the we've got a little darkening there. Let me see if I can turn on the lights here, interior lights. A little dark in here. A little shadow in there, but anyway, we're going to use this vertical speed here. once we start descending. So let's go ahead and do our before descent checklist. Alright, before descent, let's see, our descent approach checklist, that's to say. So landing data has not been received yet. Windshield defog has been on. Ice protection is getting ready to come on since there's cloud cover before we go through them. The altimeter is set. Landing lights as required. Approach setup brief is complete. So, one thing that you want to pay attention to is the fact of any type of cloud cover that can provide any precipitation to your aircraft. So at this point, we do need to, I was already ahead of the aircraft with that. So now we're going to come on over here and we are going to put our ice protection on, which we just did. Let me see if I can, yeah, that's no good. I was trying to see if these would look better lit, but it's got to get a little darker for those lights to pop out. So we've done everything that we needed to do. We've got our ice protection on. Exterior lights don't need to be on. Pressurization is good. We've got our windshield defrost on. We've got some clouds here, so now we are going to start our descent. Albuquerque Center, number 350 Kilo Tango, leaving flight level 250, starting descent to 16,000.
Number 350 Kilo Tango, roger.
Alright, so we just wanted to show a little courtesy. We're going to go ahead and start our descent. We're going to make it a nice 1,500 feet per minute, as you see, or negative value 1,500. If the negative value indicator was in here, it would be a climb. As you can see here, flight director is keeping the aircraft right there. We picked up a few knots because gravity works in our favor. You can see the engine spooling down nice and comfortably. We're going to go ahead and jump down here. Now that we've got a good radio station, let's go ahead and see if we can monitor. ATIS one more time. Still nothing. So, you know. Oh, there we go.
Couple of 731 descending to Vega 3 arrival, San Francisco, altimeter 2900 under 3.
I thought we had something there.
Descend via the Takeoff, Southwest 731.
Flat.
Okay, so we're done monitoring that. We already have our marching instructions, and we know the altimeter is 3033. Which we already knew that because we had used our flight aware. I'm really praying that this is a great arrival. And like I said, it's been a while since I've even flown, but it's like riding a bike. This aircraft is pretty intuitive in terms of the touch screens, the MFDs, I even have charts on board, but since I'm using the other charting system, I don't need to even reference it on the aircraft. Alright. Let's get our distancing over here. I'm going to increase it, see what we're looking at. Alright, so we're direct flag, so anytime in the near future, we're at a 30 nautical mile site here, so this, once this says 30 nautical miles, that's what this actually is. So this ring here would be 15 nautical miles. Okay, keeping our speed. Got about 18 minutes if you see over here. We come in on runway 21, which is basically southwest arrival. We will just simply taxi down and bear off the runway to the right and go over to those hangars and go find our ground transportation so that we can get to the truck in a timely manner and get on the road. Yeah, so we'll enter the runway, which will be parallel to taxiway Alpha, the only taxiway, and hopefully we could make Alpha 6 right over to there's a building over there right on the ramp. We'll pull up right there and let the services take the aircraft back. We'll get out and get our ground transportation. And again, we'll be looking for Calgoo. Visibility's gotten better. Should get all those clouds. We're getting ready to be below the transition altitude, and we'll set it for the altimeter of 3033. All right, 300 to go. Here we go, folks.
United 772, we're squawking mode Charlie and your sign beat code.
All right. Altimeter is now set to the field altimeter of 30.33. You can see it's roughly about 300 feet or so, 350 above what the standard barometric pressure was. No big deal.
Air New Zealand 526, contact Albuquerque Center 134.32.
All right, you can see the active Skynex catching up with the weather.
770 Phoenix ground, fish on the Charlie.
Which we're going directly through a cloud here. There we are.
We're 350 Kilo Tango, contact Phoenix approach 133.57.
Over to Phoenix approach 13357 350 Kilo Tango. All right, so we're going over to Phoenix approach. One 3357. Phoenix approach, Norma 350 Kilo Tango, 16,300, descending 6,000 with the weather at the field, requested an ILS 21 approach.
New 526, top center, climb, maintain, level 300.
All right, so let's see what we get here.
350 Kilo Tango, right back, vectors ILS runway 21 approach.
Vectors ILS 21 approach, Norma 350 Kilo Tango. Okay, so we got what we wanted. So what I'm going to do now, since we're on a direct path to the runway, it's a little trick here. I'm going to take this and hit this button. It's going to take my heading bug to this right here, and then I'm going to put it on. There we go. There's the heading bug. I'm going to go ahead and put it actually on heading. We are no longer going to be with our indicator. The only one that's still on there, the Skyview, is this one now. I've got both the other indicators for my localizer, which I'm getting ready to set up. The localizer frequency for the field for that particular runway is 110.5. So I'm going to come right over here and type it in. 110.5. I'm going to transfer it. There it is right there. 110.5. Final approach course is 214. So here, in the final approach course, we're going to put 214. And that will be the course that we should be directly on once we are on final. If you come over here, you will see us putting the heading bug directly. Takes us right to our last waypoint. He is going to give us vectors here in a second, and then I'll activate the approach. Actually, we can do that now since we're all manual. Let's go ahead and load a procedure. We're doing the ILS 21, no stars. We'll take it from FLG, which that's one of our waypoints. And as you can see now, nothing has really changed. We're taking it from FLG, and then he's going to vector us anyway, so that's not going to matter.
42, Phoenix runway 8, taxi via Charlie.
The elevation at the field once we touch down is 7,300 feet. So right now at 16,000, we're approximately 9,000 feet above the ground.
Phoenix on runway 8, taxi via Charlie.
The ground frequency is 1219. We're on approach already, and the tower frequency is 13455. So I'm going to go ahead and type that in now. 13455. Just getting it ready for when we're on approach. All right, passing right through some clouds. We're kind of right at the cloud cover there. We haven't. Oh, they switched controllers, so we have a different controller now. That's how they do their little switcherooskies. You'll never know they even did it until you notice the voice. All right. Beautiful day to fly. Okay, as you can see, we just passed where the cloud cover, even though we're not descending anymore, we just passed where the cloud cover kind of stayed at a higher elevation and dissipated at the same level. You can see we're still kind of right in it. It's still right at the cusp. It's not quite perfect. All right, got my little notepad there.
Yeah, it's 19.6 heavy Phoenix ground, runway 8, taxi via Charlie.
Okay.
Taxi via.
Go up here and get my checklist done. All right. Descent and approach. Everything is landing data has been received now at this point. Windshield defrost is still on. Ice protection as required. Altimeter. I'm going to keep the altimeter right now because we still got these clouds right here. Before we land, I'll turn the ice protection off. And actually, with this aircraft, do not retract the flaps to up if the flaps were extended while in icing conditions. We could get a little rain once we land. Don't be surprised if there's a little shower. Even if we start off on our mission, because it is looking kind of hazy here. So don't be surprised, folks, if there's a shower once we get in the vehicle. Okay, here. We're still good on fuel. This is usually what happens when you approach Flagstaff. You get down to an altitude like this, which is relatively 9,000 feet above the actual field, which you see the field is pretty much directly in front of us. There we are. And if you look at our distance to the waypoint, and I was wrong earlier on this aircraft. This inner ring is 30 miles, which makes this 60 miles. Because if you can see here, you just married up to the next waypoint, which is 49.1 nautical miles away, right here. So that'll tell you that this is the 30-mile ring, and this is probably 60-mile. Well, actually, no. I guess that's a 20-mile difference, because if it's 50, and it's kind of in, yeah. So it must be a 20-mile ring here. Again, I'm just basing this off of what I see here versus where we're going. So that tells me, I fly several different aircraft, so it's quite believable that I am confusing one readout with another, but nonetheless, all the information is the same. This is the radio frequency that we're currently on, and this is the secondary frequency, as you can see. I mean, it's pretty cool. Here's the closest runway right here, or airfield, KPRC. It gives you, it's very intuitive. I love it. I love flying this aircraft. It's very user friendly. Okay, we're reeling it in, which is a good thing here. That way we can let the passengers use the restroom. It's been a pretty uneventful flight. I feel pretty good. I'll tell you when I land how good I feel, of course. Once I get to the field. I'm going to show you a map that I always check on too. So this is the Pilotedge map. We are November 350 Kilo Tango. So this is us right here. If you hover over it, it'll show you it's me. Here I am right there, and it's kind of cool. Let it catch up. So here's the I-40. I've driven this several times in real life, from east to west, west to east, being in the military for many years. I've driven past Flagstaff a billion times down to Phoenix. So as you can see, in relative proportion to where we are essentially going to fly this way, and the field is, the runway is at 210 degrees, so we can relatively assume that we're going to come this way and kind of come back down like this, because 270 is due west, so minus 60 degrees is going to have us come back this. So the aircraft is going to come this way. We're going to swing almost around and come back down this way to the airport, if you were to impose the field onto the actual map here. But I think it's pretty cool that you guys get to see this. You can even go in a little closer. And then if you want to just follow the aircraft, you just highlight it.
It'll
stay on it. I don't think we need that though. I think you guys have the picture.
It is about 5 points, contact Los Angeles Center, 124.62.
Alright.
And 783 Phoenix, Culture, runway 8.
Okay, so we're moving right along. Everything is copacetic. All right. This is kind of the calm before the storm, so to speak. As you know, we're getting ready to take some action here. I could have picked up the speed a little bit, but for the sake of fuel, I won't, because I'm going to be doing a few. You guys will join me on one trucking run from Flagstaff down to Yuma, Arizona, but then I've got some other routes to do before I get back to the aircraft, so I'm going to save myself on fuel as much as possible. So far we've burnt about 600 pounds of fuel, almost to the T, because I believe we started with 1675 or something like that, so we've burnt about 6 something in fuel, so that's pretty good. I don't intend on using a whole bunch of fuel. That's why I'm glad we're landing on only 2-1.
Zero Tango, fly present heading, descend and maintain 12000, vector to Yuma.
Fly present heading down to 12000, vector to Yuma for number 350 Kilo Tango. Alright, so we're going to go down to 12000. We're going to once again do the vertical speed mode. Alright, so we've got our ascent, and he's vectoring us to Female right here. So I'm just going to do direct to. We're going to come over there, and now you'll see that Female is up here, and then at some point he is going to turn us around to land on the field. So I kind of told you it was too quiet before the storm. I think I can put my scratch pad down now. Okay, normally the standard altitude to turn your landing lights on is 10,000 feet. I'm going to go on the side of precaution because of the elevation. We are generally only 7,000 feet. Actually, not typically, but actually above 7,000 feet. So let's go ahead and get our landing lights on now. Landing light is on. Taxi light is on. Alright, we're going to keep the ice protection on because it's a little hazy here.
United 772, runway 8, clear takeoff, wind 160 at 6.
Also, what I love about this aircraft, I can actually manipulate the heading using this wheel here, or it's a touchscreen. I can come down here and hit the heading here, as I previously stated to you guys, or showed you guys on our departure. The good thing is we're saving fuel landing on runway 21 because the field, like I said, the ramp where we need to go to is on the west side of the field, so we are actually going to use the aircraft and try to go all the way down. I think it's the Alpha 6 and do what we need to do.
Southwest 71, contact local approach 135.1.
Alright, so we've got the localizer 110.5 in, active. We have it on the localizer 1. Now we don't even need Skyview. Everything is localizer 1 bound.
Southwest 731.
See how hazy it is?
210, descending via the bodegas.
Southwest 731, local approach, San altimeter 2994. Advise when you have information and call.
Alright.
Expect visual approach, runway 28 right.
Alright folks, we're going to go ahead and slow down to 210 knots.
Confirm that information.
As you see here, I just
we'll expect visual to 28 right.
decrease the speed to 210 knots. You can see we're bleeding airspeed. Now that we're at our 12,000 feet altitude. I think I just saw a lightning flash, so yeah, you guys can definitely expect a little bit of rain. Hopefully it clears up soon.
Mr. Park, United 772 at 3,000, 8,000.
United 772 Phoenix departure, get a contact, climbing maintain, flight level 210.
210, United 772.
So we're literally going to go pretty much over the field, and he's probably going to have us do a left turn to female since we're already left of the direct to female. So essentially we're going to go pretty much right over the field, which is also where the Flagstaff VOR was at, and we'll come across the field, not necessarily be downwind because the winds are calm, but let's just say the winds were, you know, out of the west where we're landing, then of course we would be downwind. So as orientation is concerned to the airport, we will be downwind here since the runway we're landing on is at the 210 mark. So, which is basically almost in the opposite direction here to what we're doing, which is perfect. All right. Once we get in close enough to the ILS, we're actually going to get some other indicators on here. Stay right at the 210 knot speed until it's time, until we pass over. Once he gives us our next instruction, we'll go ahead and break it down perhaps to 190. Let's see here. Let's see if we can get a look. Oh, there's the field right there. So if you look here on the display, here's the field, and you can see the field right here. We're crossing right over. So this side is runway 3. This other side down here is runway 21. So we're going to come out, loop back around, land, and here's the hangar right here where we want to land. Let's go take a look at it. This is where we want to park. Right here, folks. So we should be down there any second. Alright, so
heading 105.
you guys were actually able to see the airport in reference to what the display was, so I think that's pretty cool to show you guys a sight of the airport. It looks like it still could be good enough visibility to land under visual flight rules or VFR, but it's kind of hazy, so I'm glad I chose the ILS option.
United 1996 heavy to departure.
Okay. transponder. There's the comms. It's looking good. Again, here we are. So he's going to give us a left turn. As I said, we're going to come up. We're downwind at this point. He's going to give me a left turn to FEMO. And we'll start our approach.
United 1996, name departure at a contact, climb and maintain, flight level 210.
Level 210, United 86,
Okay, let's go ahead and slow down.
United 398, contact local approach,
To 190. This aircraft does not have air brakes other than, excuse me, I just hit the mic there, other than whenever we use our flaps and bleed speed in the air. Once you get down, you better be at the right slow speed, depending on the length of the runway, so that you have plenty of time to use your wheel brakes to slow down. And I'll tell you right now, this runway, the distance of this, just wait for him to finish talking.
134.32 American 42, good day.
There we go. Okay, so as I was saying,
American 4, Outlook Center, climb and maintain, flight level 350.
this runway, just to show you, is 8,800 feet. So when we come down here, right, we better be as slow as we need to do. I mean, that's a pretty good distance. This aircraft can definitely, I think French Valley is 6,000 feet, which that's shorter than I would like it to be. But it's still good because this aircraft lands slow, but I'm just saying it doesn't have any air brakes or spoilers, so there you go. So that's what we're looking at there. Just wanted to show you that. Alright, bit of a nice slow, and we should be getting vectors here any minute to make our turn for the approach. Just kind of cruising right here along.
Lookout approach Southwest 731 at 11,000.
Southwest 731, north approach, fly heading 100, descend and maintain 6,000.
Fly heading 100, descend and maintain 6,000, Southwest 731.
Alright, we'll be getting instructions here in any moment to go ahead and make our turns for vectors.
750 Kilo Tango, turn left, heading 030.
Left 030, number 350 Kilo Tango.
United 772, contact Public Center,
Okay, so we're going to go left 030. I'm using the knob here, as you see, to turn it. Now you can see I have 030.
Contact Public Center, 34.32.
They'll be giving us another turn here in a second with some descent instructions.
750 Kilo Tango, left, direct Zanab, cross Zanab at above 1,300, clear ILS runway 21 approach.
Cleared direct Zana, cross Zana at 1,000, cleared ILS approach 21, November 350 Kilo Tango. Okay, so let's go ahead and start our manual turn.
And November 0 Tango Zanab at above 1,300.
Correction, 1,300, November 350 Kilo Tango.
Thanks, United 772,
Okay.
climb and maintain, flight level 350.
So let's get our turn here. And let's obey his instructions, which I have been corrected to 1,300. And we're going to go activate our descent. And as you can see here, I can see everything I need to see right here. All right. go. I am manually vectoring us to Zamab, as you can see. And we will pick up the ILS, as you can see here. The glide slope indicator is already active. Let's give us
Turn right heading 250. And
a little bit of a softer turn there. We're going to activate this button here for the approach button.
Descend to 4000 Southwest 731.
United 1980 contact Copy Center 134.3.
And the localizer
32 Albert Gia, United TSO 86.
is going to capture any second now.
Southwest 731, airport 3 o'clock and 13 miles, report inside.
Just want to make sure we're hitting the ILS 30 degrees or less, otherwise the autopilot
Field inside Southwest 731.
won't like that. Alright, so we've got a good capture. You see now here, this localizer 1 is in blue, and as you see here, our green line, and the aircraft is turning on its own to line up with the line here. And as you can see, the glide slope is active, which means it is going to control our aircraft to the field. At this point, I'm going to start reducing our speed. Down to 170. As we decrease some speed here,
Southwest 731 to maintain 3000, airport total block 1, 2 miles.
glide slope here is captured.
Send 3000.
Alright,
Southwest 731.
so now I'm going to decrease our speed to about 130. Okay. Alright. Get around this mountain. We will bear right. Okay, we're going to go ahead and go for flaps down now.
134.55.
Alright. Let's get our before landing checklist here. We're not quite there until we get our gear down.
Southwest 731, descend and maintain 2300. If you don't see the field, do you prefer ILS?
Alright.
Down to 2300 Southwest 731.
Southwest 731, have the report inside, what do you want to do?
Bringing it down to 110. Getting ready to deploy the landing gear.
Again, Southwest 31.
Southwest 731, do you have port inside?
Roger that, we have the
Get a
airside.
good side of the field. You can see it right here in the haze. People, if you're wondering where it's at, it's right here.
Contact San Francisco Tower 120.5.
Alright. We're at 136 knots.
Southwest 71.
As you can see now, landing gear, I've activated it.
134.55.
The knob is down. 3 green.
Southwest 71.
They'll be switching us to tower here in a second.
We might have to go
Before
around
landing,
Southwest
gear
71.
down. Brakes check. Flaps landing. Autopilot yaw damper off. I will turn this off here shortly.
Heading, climb and maintain 5000.
Flaps are going to landing now.
Southwest 731.
Again, if you want to get visual reference to the airfield, it's right here, folks. So not to worry. We're going to keep our speed about a 110. Alright. Flaps. Now, what you want to do, flap lever is down, and it is also indicated to land.
November 350, Tango, yeah.
Go ahead for November 350, Kill Tango.
November 0, Tango, contact tower 134.55.
Over to tower 34.55. Thanks for your service, November 350, Kill Tango. Alright. Flagstaff Tower, November 350, Kilo Tango on the ILS 21.
November 350, Tango, Flagstaff Tower, runway 21, clear to land, wind 240 at 3.
Runway 21, clear to land, November 350, Kilo Tango. Okay, so the landing checklist is complete. Now I'm pulling up my little trusty...
398, contact local approach 135.65.
All right, folks, at this point, I think the autopilot has served its purpose. It is time for me to do what I came to do. We're going to go with the auto throttle off. Autopilot and yaw damper off. That completes our landing checklist there. All right. I'm going to go ahead and trim the plane down. It's pretty windy here. All right. Trimming the plane a little bit. Let me bleed some of the speed here. I'm going to follow the actual flight director, folks. All right, here's where we get the bank.
Southwest 731.
All right.
Do you need vector for approach? Do you need a hold?
Now, this is where it's key, folks, to drop your speed, as I'm doing now with this aircraft, not to stall it, because you want to be nice and slow. You want to be nice and slow for your approach, so that when you hit the field, you're at the right speed. I'm going to keep it, the lowest I'm going to go is about 100 knots. You don't want to go any lower than that. All right, nice and easy. Plane is trimmed good. All right, we're almost at that 100 knots. There's a lot to pay attention to. We actually have 2 white and 2 green on the poppy lights. That's what we want, folks. It's a lot. It's pretty windy. It's chopping up right here. All right, right at 100. There we go. Nose down. All right, it's nice and stable approach. This approach, you come in at an angle, so. All right. There we go. A little stutter there. Right at the right speed.
200.
Right at the right speed. There we go. I'm all visual right now. You see the tire marks? That's what we're aiming for. Going to come back on the throttle slightly.
50.
Lining up right on the.
30.
We're gonna flare
20.
and throttle back right now. Nice touchdown. There we are. Let's go ahead and bleed the speed as we need to. Okay. All right. We're using some wheel brakes here. This aircraft is a little lighter, so typically we're not going to make Alpha 5, of course, but I planned on making Alpha 6, which we actually did. Good for us, folks. All right. Here's Alpha 6 coming up, as you see. Tap on the brakes. Keep tapping, keep tapping, keep tapping. All right. Ease off the runway. Then we will do the after landing checklist. All right. Nice and slow.
Taxi parking via Alpha. This frequency. Have a good night.
Taxi to parking via Alpha. Remain this frequency. Thanks for your service. You have a good night as well. See you next time. November 350 Kilo Tango. All right. So let's just kind of straighten up here quick. And let's get our landing off. Let's go ahead and clean up the flaps.
398, contact San Francisco
Okay.
120.5.
Just really quick. After landing checklist, flaps up, external lights as required, air switch as required, ice protection off. So let's absolutely adhere to that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and turn our ice protection off. Ice protection is off, as well as our air source switch. We can go ahead and cycle that right, norm left, off. There we go. Landing lights are off, taxi is on, it's to beacon nav. Let's go ahead and taxi straight in. And this building over here is what we saw from the sky. All right, so we're going to remain the frequency. Flaps are all the way up. It's cleaned up. Aircraft is cleaned up after landing checklist is complete. I want to say it was a pleasure having you all on board today for my... I guess, long-awaited flight that I wanted to take. Now that building over there is the terminal, but it's a smaller airport, and there's my car waiting for me right there in black, as you see.
Southwest 731, 180 number of souls and the fuel remaining.
So this is the admin building, but we're not, you know what, we're going to be respectful. We're not going to park right at the admin building, even though our car is there already. I'm going to park right over here by the fuelers, and I'm going to let the services take care of the aircraft. There's the car right there that's going to take us to right here. That will take us to my garage. So good thing we just have to walk across the field and not get hit by any planes.
And 10 miles, 3 o'clock inside.
All right, folks. It's going to come right over here.
Southwest 731, visual approach, runway 28
so
right.
this fuel box area over here.
Tower 120.5. American 480, contact Denver Center 127.02.
We'll just come right over in this area here.
Tower Southwest.
There's the fuel pumps, and then they'll come out and get the aircraft and stuff like that. This aircraft is so light, they just need those little hand trucks to handle it.
Land, runway 28 right, Southwest 731.
All right.
American 482, Denver Center, roger.
All right. Exactly where we wanted to be. Right next to the fuel. The av gas. There goes some guy over there driving erratically. All right. Parking brake set. All right, let's get ready for the shutdown. We're going to do throttle, stabilize 1 minute at idle, which is what we're doing now. Parking brake, air source is off, engine selectors off, all external lights off, start battery switch off, left generator, right generator off, bus tie. We're not going that far, folks. We're going to shut the plane down. We're just giving it the 1 minute to cool the engines. And let's go ahead and turn our taxi lights on. We're going to leave the beacon on and the nav because the airplane is still active, so you don't want to do that. I did have the interior lights on, so I'm going to kill those switches. And just a few more seconds and we will be at the 1 minute mark. I am now just going to silence the air traffic control because we don't need that anymore. Okay, the 1 minute is complete. So now what we want to do before you shut the engines off, since we're still on the battery, is we want to shut the generators off. The batteries are still on, as you can tell. And then we're going to come right up in here. Then we're going to shut it down in reverse order. Left first, then the right. And you can see the engines spooling down. Now we can turn the beacon off. We'll leave the nav light on because they are going to come grab the aircraft, just in case there's any other moving aircraft on the ramp. All right, let's go to the back. And we need to have them hook up the ground power. Actually, we won't have them up. We'll be on battery right now. I don't want to hear that noise, just to get you guys off the plane. All right, as you can see, the steps are down. We can disembark at this point. Down the steps. And folks, I just want to say thank you for taking this wonderful flight with us. And we can go and take a look and see exactly what we look like landing on the field. Hopefully you guys will join me for the next flight. But in the meantime, let's look at the replay, and then we got to catch the car so we can go pick up the truck and get us down to Yuma, Arizona. So let's watch the replay, and then you'll have a brief pause as I travel from this airport to the garage, and then we'll pick it back up in the garage before we start our mission in the truck.
500. 400. 300. 200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Right, here we are in Flagstaff, Arizona. Today we just landed at the airport coming in from Murrieta, California, and we've got a trip today to go ahead and bring a load down to Yuma, Arizona, which is the whole purpose. We flew from California to here to pick up this load so we can continue our logistics company, make sure we need to be where we need to be to make our money. So let's go ahead and jump on board this rig and just figure out exactly how much gas we have and what we need to do. All right, jumping on board here. We're gonna go ahead and fire it up. Okay. All right, as we see here, we have our GPS directions right there down on the screen there, and it looks like we have enough gas to get going. We're basically almost on full. That's enough. Let's go ahead and just double check how much fuel that we have in here. See, fuel 263 gallons. We got a distance of, looks like, oh, we got plenty of gas there to get where we need to go. So let's go ahead and go to Eddie's. I believe that's where we're picking up today. So we'll go ahead and disengage the parking brake and get rolling. Hopefully traffic is going to be favorable to us today. See if we can get out of this here garage decent. And it looks like it's raining now. Let's see here. Let's make sure we make this turn out of here correctly. Alright, let's get our windshield wipers going here. Just keep them on low for now. It's not raining that bad. Alright. Let's follow our GPS. It looks like we're out here and we need to make a left. This is just one of the garages that I have. I've got two more garages, I believe. One in San Diego and the other one, I can't remember where I got the garage at. Anyway, we gotta watch this traffic here. Let's ease out on the road just a little bit here. See if we can't. I can't really. It's a blind spot there, so let's just ease out there with the hopes that we don't hit anybody. All right. All right. So looks like we do need to make a left here. Wait for the old rusty dusty traffic light. Looks like the rain stopped. so we can effectively turn off our windshield wipers. There we are. Oh, what was that guy doing? Looked like he didn't want to adhere to his turn. But you know, that's how these people are. All right. I'm so used to driving the online version, I'm not even used to traffic here. But we got traffic. Look at this guy. Are you kidding me? They have no regard for stopping. Alright, here's Eddie's. We're going to go in here and accept our load. We got to do a bit of a wide turn here. Alright. Let's see what type of magic we have to do in order just to get this trailer. Alright, let's go ahead and accept our job here. We are going to go right over to the freight market, and this looks like this is the only job coming from here, so we'll go ahead and take that job. As you can see here, it's used packaging from Flagstaff, Arizona to Yuma. We'll make $14,490, and the travel time is 5 hours. Of course, simulated, it won't be a whole 5 hours. 340 miles. Here is the route. Let's go ahead and accept this job here. Alright, so now let's go ahead and get our four-ways on so we can go pick up this tier trailer. A little honk there just to let everybody know we're coming in. We'll come right on over here, and let's take this mirror off there so we can use our actual mirrors. Of course, there's some things that we need to do in the simulation world when we don't really have access to see the full actual sight or have the feeling of the vehicle. So now we're just going to back up nice and easy. Alright, we're going to use our mirrors, and as you can see here, just as in real life, you can follow the little marks of the let's pull up a little bit. Other previous trucks that have picked up have left marks. Make this turn to pick up the trailer. Let's go bump the curb. That should be good there. We probably won't have to bump the curb. Alright, so we're going to just position ourselves so we can line up to this trailer here. Pick up our load and head down the road. You guys didn't even know that I'm a poet? Didn't know it. Alright. Alright, come on, baby. Let's line you right on up. Let's slow down a little bit. Let's check our other mirror. Okay, looks like we're coming in at a good angle. Let's see if we can get a first time connection here. There we go. Looks like it's good enough for government work. Let's go ahead and set our parking brake here. Alright. We have officially connected our trailer. Alright, let's go ahead and do our walk around. Gotta find the key there. We're gonna do our little walk around here. Alright, let's make sure our trailer brakes are working. There's our little license plate there. We got good working trailer. Alright, let's come over here and take a look at the truck. Looks good. Let's get a little screenshot there. That looks really good. I like the way the truck looks at this point. And it's one of the trucks. I think I've got 4 or 5 trucks in my fleet. This is my Kenworth here. I love this truck, and it's got some beautiful graphics on the side of it, and just an awesome truck to drive. We got sunny skies right now, so let's go ahead and jump back in and get doing what we need to do here to get down the road to deliver these here stuff there, partner. I don't know why I did that, but it just sounded like something I needed to do. Alright. Why the horn sounds that cheesy, I don't know. But nonetheless, let's see if we can manage to get this trailer out of here safely. Alright. Come on, baby. Don't fail me now. Just got to keep a check on that mirror back there to make sure that trailer clears. And then here they give you a nice little tight little turn to come out of, and we need to go left, of course. All right. So now what we've got to do is to position ourselves to leave here without any issue, which that in itself is an issue. All right, let's go ahead and cut it hard there. Looks like a little Tesla. All right, adhering to our mirrors. Let's see. Can't really get a good look to the right. So we'll go ahead and just ease out, and hopefully I don't think we're going to make that pole. We're going to have to come on back. And this is why it's a pain, people. Let's see if we can straighten up now and just come out kind of straight. Hopefully this traffic will allow us. I don't know if we're going to hit that pole. Doesn't look like it. Look at these guys. No consideration for the working man. Alright, I think we've cleared the pole. Alright. We can turn our flashers off now. And hopefully we get traffic that doesn't impede our run today. But we'll see. What's the speed limit here? Speed limit's 25. We are not doing 25, so we're good. Guess we can adhere to speed limitations today as a good citizen. All right, we got a red light here, of course, people. Gotta burn up my gas, stop and go. Couldn't be green and be too easy. I'm making a left here on Humphrey Street. All right, a nice little stop here. All right, we got green here. Nice little easy turn here. All right, which way are we going? We are going to the right. Here we are. Nice turn. We have entered the intersection before the light turned red, so we're good there. Ooh, got a traffic jam over there. Better them than me. Hopefully my stuff works out today with no considerable amount of traffic. That way we can get this load dropped off and make this money. Gotta make this money. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed the flight into Flagstaff. I'm gonna have to get another controller here pretty soon. This one is sticking on the throttle at that, trying to get me a ticket. Alright. Alright, let's see. We got a car back there to the rear. Can't really switch gears yet. Or, I mean, switch lanes. He's still there. Hopefully he lets us go over. Let's just ease on over. Alright, we're in the lane. Nice and safe. GPS says go straight towards Phoenix. Oh, speeding violation. What's the speed limit there? Oh, man. It was 45. I guess it's 65 now. Well, there you go, folks. Wasn't paying attention to the speed limit. Got a ticket. Isn't that just the way life goes? If I didn't have bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck. So there you go. All right. Even though we just got our nice $1,000 ticket, which will take off of our $13,000 load, minus our gas, whatever. We got the ticket. We did the crime. We got to do the time, man. That's what it's all about. Look, Popo passing me. Oh, well, I guess he could be doing the speed limit. It's probably the guy that gave me a doggone ticket. I should ticket him. Illegal lane change. All right. Looks like we got people in a rush today, but I'm the one getting the ticket. Oh well, we'll stay motivated. We'll accept our responsibility to our crime. Uh-oh, looks like we got some traffic up here. Starting to pile up. Not too bad though. There we go. Alright, back on the road again. Reminds me of my good old military days. Convoying in different countries and or the United States. There's a lot of cops out here. Well, I guess he used his signal. He could have changed lanes a little further up, buddy. I know your buddies are out to get me, but I'm not going to let you. Alright. Coming around this corner here. Nice and easy. A lot of people on a mission today going places. Alright. Let's see, what's our speed limit here? Let me just double check. Oh, I swear these people here. Killing me. Killing me here, people. Around the corner we go. A UPS guy there. Delivering those packages from Amazon. Better get your package quick so somebody doesn't take it off your doorstep. Alright. There's a lot going on here. Be paying attention to. Alright. There we go. We cooking with Crisco now. Alright, let's get a little lane change there. Well, got a little bus transport there. Looks like an inmate bus. One of those old inmate buses, really. Corrections bus, I should say. Inmate bus. What is an inmate bus? It's a bus with a bunch of inmates. Who is obviously impeding my way now. Let's go and get a drive-by. That's what we look like there, folks. Alright. Camp Verde. Let's see if we can put some cruise control on here soon. Looking at the GPS just to make sure. America's finest. Let's stay in the lane here. Guess the old inmate bus there needed to go to Camp Verde. Speed limit is 65 and we got 65 on it. Ooh. Didn't know what happened there. Alright, we're going to go cruise control here in a second. So we get back up to 65. Looks like we're starting to hit more deserty area coming out of those mountains. Flagstaff. Can't believe we hit a little rain shower as soon as we got here. During the Uber from the airport to my garage. Whew. Gotta watch that curve there. I'm driving with basically an Xbox controller right now. Hopefully in the future I decide to get perhaps the steering wheel. There we go. Whoa, yeah, as you can see, with just pick up speed, it gets a little more out of control. Speed limit is 75 though, so hopefully we can get up to speed here in a second. Put the old cruise control on so I don't have to deal with this throttle that's sticking on my controller. I've got like 3 controllers in the house. Of course, I picked the one. Alright, we got cruise control set for 72. As you see on the panel, just to ensure that the police don't say that I'm speeding. Obviously, they could get me for not driving in my lane. Perhaps I should go back and set the sensitivity later, but that's alright. So far, so good. So far, so good. Passing no exit 221. Alright. Let's go ahead. Nobody in our blind spot there. There we go. Let's make sure we don't hit this little Jeep and its campers as we're rolling along, delivering this wonderful, wonderful trailer full of who knows what's in there in the virtual world. Alright, let's give a little honk here. Say how you doing. Speed limit is now 65, so we need to perhaps decrease a little speed here. We most certainly don't want to get another ticket and lose our earnings. Now speed limit's 55. So we're just coasting to speed, because we're still a little bit over that speed limit. And we'll do like 5 over. Hopefully they won't mess with us. There we go. We're more like 2 over. Hopefully these cops here cut us a little bit of slack. We're just, you know, honest man trying to make a living here on these virtual highway, this virtual I-17. I believe that's what we're on, the I-17 south to Phoenix. We're headed to Yuma, which that would be the way to go from Flagstaff. I've actually driven that way a few times in real life, coming off the 40, heading west to Cali, but then pick up the 17 south into Phoenix. It's a little shortcut sometimes to get to San Diego instead of going through the high desert. Alright, we can pick up some speed now. We'll change some lanes here just to make sure. We shouldn't be riding in the left lane being a big rig, but we are right now. Alright, looks like we are up to our cruising speed here. Thought I hit cruise control, but I didn't. Look back down at the keyboard here in a second. I used to have it programmed into my remote. I need to go back in and reconfigure their controls. Looks like we got a turn coming up here. Just come around here, and it's either a sharp curve or a turn, which ironically a sharp curve is a turn. Alright, let's take it easy here in back country. There we go. Good thing we're not going too fast, because it looks like these travelers in front of us are quite conscious of their speed. There we go, around the corner here. Keep some distance. There we go. This throttle really sucks sticking on here. Oh, we're going down to Junction 8, so coming up soon here. Let's get our signal on. Alright. Want to make this turn nice and slow. There we go. Got to follow our trailer. Alright, I-8, here we are. I guess that guy has no respect for truckers. He had plenty of room. He could have got over. Normally when you're driving a big rig or a trailer, merging onto the highway, the rule of thumb is that you will expect that everyone is going to merge or yield to you. Not merge, but yield to your coming on the highway, but it doesn't happen all that way. And if you're a big rig on the highway and you see one coming on, typically you want to slow down. You can't necessarily react as fast as a car without a trailer, or if you're a small personally owned vehicle pulling a trailer. Rule of thumb is you stay there, and the person merging on's got to do a little bit more work to merge on, because you cannot make drastic moves with a trailer like that or brake on a dime, which other drivers that don't have a trailer seem to always not pay attention to. I would say forget. Some of them don't even have the mindset to even know that something that big coming on is not as agile as, let's say, like a Prius or a Suburban that's not pulling anything, if you will. Anyway, I'm speaking from experience. I'm sure any truck drivers out there will concur with this, and the fact that the four-wheelers, quote-unquote cars, something with only four wheels not pulling a trailer generally, do not give the trucks the respect that they need in order for them to do their jobs. And that's why there's so many accidents with big rigs and things of that nature. So folks, this is my personal public service announcement, right? Yield for the trucks when they're coming on. Give them a little extra consideration. They do not and cannot move around these lanes like you do. Alright, and this goes out to my cousin Shango Alves, who is big. He drives a big truck. He's always putting the stuff on Facebook. So Shango, cuz, what up, man? My hat's off to you. Alright, speed limit 75, so let's go ahead and pick up our pace, get cruise control set, and then we'll look at our mileage, see how far we have to go. Alright, we're at 75 now. Make sure we do not go over the speed limit, because there's my buddy right there. Or actually, it's not my buddy. Alright. Whew. They could have had a little more warning on that one. Alright, back over we go. Let's check our mirror. That's the only thing I like about this game. Those come up out of nowhere. Alright, we're back in the lane. See if we can reestablish good cruise control. Speed limit is still 75. How we doing on fuel? Got 3/4 of a tank on fuel, so we're good there. Check our mileage here in a minute. Boy, there's just all types of stuff going on over here today. Alright. Let's get over. Back to our lane so we're not left lane riders. See if we can get established on the 75 cruise control here. Or they're just right underneath it, just to ensure we don't get a ticket. Alright. Cruise control is established, thank goodness. Throttle was sticking. Sorry about that, folks. A little dancing around the road here, worrying about that stupid throttle on this controller, which I definitely need to make sure I have the right controller, or the one where the throttle's not sticking next time we travel. Alright, let's look and see. We've got 51 miles to go, so we are effectively getting close. Hopefully we don't have any type of crazy parking situation to back this trailer into. Let's just get there without any more speeding tickets. Let's have an uneventful arrival, hopefully, and we'll complete this journey, which started at French Valley in Marietta, California, in order for us to fly over here, take this load, and deliver it. Would have been $14,000 and some change. However, I did get a speeding ticket for $1,000. Quite costly. I can't talk. No puedo hablar ahora. No puedo decir mis palabras correctas. No, I'm just kidding. Alright, here we are. Can't take your eye off the screen for a second. Let's decide to get around this guy. Looks like they got a helicopter up there just floating around to the right. Come on. There we go. This thing is so sensitive, I gotta fix the sensitivity on this controller so I don't oversteer. Anybody out there wants to send me a volante, a steering wheel, I will take it. Not a cheap one though. I had a cheap one I bought myself and my kids. Caught myself saving on money on a nice steering wheel. Ended up buying these cheap. I think they were $100 a piece, which for gaming steering wheels, if anyone has one, you'll know that that's very cheap. Probably shouldn't even invest in something like that because it was horrible. I sent it right back to Amazon. Like, look, you got to take these back. These are horrible. So, nonetheless, my son was a little discouraged because he was happy to have a steering wheel for his games, which it also was a steering wheel for PS4 as well as the PC. Alright, it looks like this is our exit here. Alright, let's get on the brakes a little bit. Alright, down the off-ramp to the left. Sorry about my horrible driving, folks. This is actually the first time I've even driven this truck in a long time, so the fact that I remember remotely where everything is at is in itself a miracle. Alright, let's get our gear. We'll start off with this load in 2. Waiting for the old rusty dusty light. There we go. We have green. Alright, let's go follow our trailer as we're switching these gears. Alright, got another red light here. Looks like we are on 95 South, which is a California highway since the sign is in white. State highway. Not California, rather Arizona. You guys should have corrected me. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and bust this right here on West 16th Avenue. Also, as you see, headed towards downtown. Alright. Stretching my back out there. Right on red is all good, but you gotta make sure you're not gonna get hit by oncoming traffic that already has the right of way. Looks like we got a Prius turning right there. We got another red car coming down the hill here. This looks like a Charger, maybe. Alright, we got this guy up here turning right in his old Mustang. Alright, we got the green. Nice easy turn here. Woo! We almost, with that traffic, did you guys see that in my mirror? Didn't make the turn, but we made it. We missed the pole. As once you see, once again, traffic did not have any consideration for my problems. Alright, speed limit here is 40. We are not doing that just yet. Alright. So we are effectively coming up on our destination here, so we are not going to even switch gears anymore. We're just going to keep it nice and smooth here. Downshift a little bit here. Now this is a long trailer, so hopefully we get in our drop-off area with no issues. Go out here for a nice little view. Boy, that's a good looking truck. We got a green light still, so let's walk around the truck here. Got some traffic next to us. Alright. We do have the green light. So So let's go ahead and turn into our destination here on the right. Hopefully we can make it in. I don't know if we're going to be able to make this turn. Let's go ahead and get our flashers on. We most certainly are going to give it a go. Alright. Okay. Let's go ahead and stop and see exactly where they want us. We'll do this where do you need it against my popular desire there. So here we are entering the gate off of the street. So we'll come around here, the backside. We're going to come all the way around here. We'll make a loop, bring it up, and back it in if that works out fine, folks. That's the plan. All right. Now we need to go all the way around this building with our trailer like that. So there's a few things that we're going to have to do in order to even make it in here. All right. Let's make sure that trailer clears. All right. Perhaps we'll just go around the building. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot of drop-offs right now, deliveries happening here at this yard, so let us come in and figure out what we need to do. Up, see? Got somebody here decided to leave their trailer right here. Always making it interesting for us. Plenty of clearance. Okay, let's go on this backside here and see exactly where we are going to park this bad boy. Alright, not too bad. This actually kind of worked out good. Let's see, we're going to want to swing out a little bit. There's that trailer. I'm just glad we're not working with we don't have to. Let's get rid of this little sign there, or that little notification. We essentially don't have that much traffic in here. Okay, so let's come up a little bit more. All right. Now comes the fun part, folks. All right, let's see if we can't get her in there. Without any event happening specifically. Maybe come up a little more on this turn so we can get back there. There we go. Let's come outside. That's about all we're going to get on that side. All right, folks, we're going to do it. We just got to posture ourselves. All right. We have to posture ourselves. That's where we need to go. You can see the trailer turning there. That's what we need. Let's come this way and just make sure we got good clearance here. Alright, so we see the trailer where it needs to go. So now we'll start. We're going to straighten our wheel up this way, folks. This is what we got to do in order to make these miracle parkings. Now we're going to cut the wheel the other way, of course. And here we go. Let's see. Probably a little steep on the angle there. All right. All right, as you can see there, we're lined up for that mark, so we probably cut it a little bit too early. So let's go out here. I'm using that small little circular mirror up there, if that's what you're wondering what I'm looking at. So we can line it up where we need to go. We just ended up cutting it too early. Now we gotta stay away from that little gate there. Alright, now let's see if we can cut hard into the spot. Alright, we got plenty of clearance over here. Alright, accidentally shut her down. It's not what our intent was. Alright, again, some of this is unrealistic just because we can't lean our head there, and you can see our mark there we go. You see the shadow. Okay, now as you can see, it's backed up for the most part where we need the angle to start. We're away from this fence, so let's see. We need to kind of straighten it out now. I'm trying to go straight back, so now we got to play the move up, move back game. Maybe about right there. Cutting the wheel. Getting close to this, of course. Looks like we might almost have it, folks. The truck won't be straight, but the trailer will be in. Alright. I don't know how much clearance we have here, but we are most certainly going to see what we're working with. Alright. Almost basically lined up, but I don't know if it's going to let me straighten up enough. Alright, let's put the parking brake on. We're going to simulate this as if we're getting out the actual truck just to check our spot. There's our clearance. Okay, so we are way off the mark. So I'm going to do it outside of the truck just because I don't have a ground guide. Cousin Shango, don't be ashamed of me right now if you see this. I promise you I used to drive these bad boys. Yeah, we're gonna have to get away from this fence a little bit more. Yeah, ain't gonna work. Problem is we're too close to this fence. see if we can make this work. There we go. Again, like I said, I would say in real life you would get out and check and see what you had to do. I don't think that it would really be this difficult, as it hasn't been for me before when I was in the military. But hopefully we're straight enough where the game, there we go, see? Boom. So we got it. Again, at a little bit of a disadvantage in this game for delivering this trailer. I mean, we got it positioned pretty much in the first part. Of course, I just simulated me getting out the truck, checking what I needed to do. So we got it in. Let's go ahead and drop the trailer to complete our mission. All right. Let's see, all of our earnings there, we made $14,490. Of course, minus $1,000, so for the speeding ticket, of course. So now let's make sure our truck is all disconnected, which it is. Let's jump back in the cabin here, and we are disconnected. Let's go ahead and take our truck out of this position and at least go park it out of respect. There's our trailer. There's our $14,000 payday, even though it's $13,000 because of the ticket, obviously, and then minus gas and all that stuff. So what we're going to do, we're just going to come right behind this guy, get our thoughts together, complete the mission. I want to say thanks for riding with us and flying with us from French Valley in Marietta, California. We really appreciate it. Hopefully next time we'll get some logistical operations going on with my son. He also drives big trucks. I'm trying to get him into the flight simulation. However, for now it's all good. There is our rig right there, of course, looking good as usual. Anyway, thanks for riding along on this journey from California for us to deliver our goods down here to Yuma, Arizona. And the videos are only going to get better, and we'll see what other adventures that we can get into. So for next time, it'll be fun. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe. And we'll see you on the mission next time on the Motivated Sim Pilot.